What's going down, Yinz? Casey Kiefer here from the Humanimal podcast, and we're super excited to be here today. Glad everybody joined us to listen in. We're kind of in that dead time of the year right now. Hey,
very dead time right now.
Yeah, very what we consider a slow time from what's happening out in the field. Scouting's starting to fire up. We're in late July.
The Velvet Rut is here.
The Velvet
Rut is here.
The Velvet Rut, this guy. And while it's a slow time out there in the field, it's never a slow time in here. We're always hammering away. We're busy, obviously on production stuff and podcasting and getting all this stuff going, trying to put out as much content as we can. But we do find some time to get into gear this time of year. And we do find some time to start working on bows and, tree stands and trail cameras and making sure everything is right, because where rubber meets the road for us is coming up here in just a few short weeks.
For sure. It's coming hot.
That's right. So, we're diving into to equipment and bows, and I think a perfect podcast today for what's going on out there right now. We're going to learn a lot of things, and we have got Jerry and Bryant from America's Best Bowstrings on the line with us. So let's kick over and see if we got those guys. Can you guys hear us?
Yep, we got you loud and clear. How's it going, fellas?
There we go. We are doing good. Go Blue, go Michigan. I just got to throw that out there real quick.
Go Blue. Always got to. Yeah. See, I like that about him. He snuck that one in. He didn't tell me he was doing that either.
Listen. I'm feeling a little bit sick the way it is, and I'm almost nauseated now.
Oh, here we go. Oh, all right, that was a quick podcast. All right, we're going to wrap this one up.
All right, so that's it, guys.
I can always count on Aaron to do that kind of thing, Casey, but I figured you were a little more classy, sir.
No, absolutely not. No. There is no grace to me whatsoever. No, I had to slide it in. I'm not going to lie. It came to me. I thought, Ohio, well, I got to slip this in there.
That's okay. We'll see you in November.
Yeah, listen, I've got a property I want to take you on to hunt whitetails. We got 250-inch deer in every corner, so come on down.
So beautiful. It's basically called the gar hole? Is that what it is?
Yes. I want to sit in whatever stand you have called the gar hole.
It's revenge for the Go Blue comment.
Beautiful. Well, I just keep pouring it on, so I'll just give a quick backstory, because today we are on the podcast. We're going to dive into all things America's Best Bowstrings, and we're going to talk about, first and foremost, why I think everybody and their mother should be shooting in America's Best, but then more importantly, we want to hear about the different lines and the technology and all the stuff that you guys got going on. But I'm going to start with a little bit of a backstory of why I keep pouring it on. These guys came up to turkey hunt with us this spring, and we could do nothing but talk up how good our turkey hunting is. And
it's the best.
It's the best. It's literally the best. Our turkey hunting is fantastic here.
And we wouldn't know.
All right.
Okay. Well, there it is.
The Band-Aid is off.
Yeah. So I'm sure by that comment you can tell how the turkey hunt went. We sat in, and then mind you, I think we were in May by the time you guys got up here. Or maybe late April, early May. We sat in like 40-degree weather, pouring down the rain. I don't even know if we saw a turkey. It was just an absolutely terrible hunt. So, needless to say, AB and I caught some flack for our guiding skills. And I think the Michigan comment is just a direct result of us catching flack for our guiding skills.
And what I want to equate that whole turkey hunt to is, you guys came up here, when you got out of the vehicles, you guys smelled really bad.
That's right.
Turkeys winded us
Yep.
like crazy. Mm-hmm. They like to circle downwind when they hear the calls, just like whitetails.
Yep.
And, I think you guys not really having a scent regimen when it comes to turkeys, I think that really was a detriment to us.
Yeah, maybe we should have been more clear. But you got to do that.
The thing is this. I mean, I've hunted turkeys across pretty much the entire United States. I'd never hunted Michigan before, and you learn something new pretty much on every trip. And I did learn that obviously these Michigan turkeys, they must have Go Blue everywhere, because they can wind you. They can wind you.
Yeah. Well,
they were smelling that winning mentality and straight killers, Aaron.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? You might have got me right there. All right. I get it.
I think a lot of it came down to...
We could just keep going on with this if you want.
Yeah. A lot of it came down to I wanted to hunt bedding areas. Bryant wanted feeding locate.
They wanted to hunt blinds and,
trying to rattle.
What are we rattling for in the spring?
What are we rattling for? What are we doing?
We'll release the footage on this one sometime down the road.
We could not find any turkey rubs.
Yeah. We looked, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
We looked long and hard. Well, now that we got all the good stuff out of the way, that's it. That's the podcast. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yep.
It was a good one. Thanks, guys.
Go get an ABB string.
AmericasBestBowstrings.com. Find us there.
There you go. There you go. Shameless plug, AmericasBestBowstrings.com. No, I think now that that's out of the way, we had to get a little back and forth there. But let's talk about some of the stuff that we're here to go through today. Obviously, you guys have been great partners of ours for a long time. We support everything that you're doing over there at America's Best. First and foremost, because they are America's Best. I think that's a
100%.
no-brainer. You guys, in my opinion, make the best bowstring on the market. And one of the things that I always try to focus on when I talk to people about bowstrings, because the question does come up like, well, a string comes on my bow already.
Why would I need another one?
Why do I need one,
Yep.
right? And I'm sure you guys, you're a bowstring manufacturer. You probably hear that more than any of us. But, I always like to equate it back to something in like the gun world and even the rifle world is, you're only going to perform to the level that your equipment will allow you to perform to.
Yep.
And while some of the bow designs that we have today through risers and limbs and cams and all that stuff are fantastic bow designs and, Corvette engines, we're putting, the worst kind of fuel possible in that
Or
engine.
the worst tires.
Or the worst tires on it. Right,
You know?
exactly. When you buy a bow off the shelf, you're not getting a premium string. You're just not, right? So,
in a lot of cases, that's true, Casey. I mean, we do supply some manufacturers, but yes, largely, you're correct. Largely, that is the case, and and I think, like you were just alluding to with the tire or the engine analogy, you only get the performance out of your product, based on what it is, and so a lot of the bows. The companies, they'll have a cheaper string, if you will, but you just need a better product to perform, to get your bow up to the level of what it's capable of. And that actually is going to help you then become a better archer, and you're going to enjoy yourself a lot more and have a lot more fun shooting. And it just, goes back to our tagline, peace of mind is priceless. And that's the thing that we're trying to provide through building a better product.
So that tagline, peace of mind is priceless, I cannot get behind any more than I am behind it.
Yep.
One of the things, and AB and I have talked about this, and I might have even mentioned it to you guys, I went through kind of a cycle like any bow hunter probably does. I went through a cycle where I used to shoot so much. I mean, I shot constantly all the time. And then I got to a point where life gets busy, and I had kids, and then I had another son. Like, I've got multiple kids now, my wife, and all the stuff we have going on, and life got a little bit crazy. So I stopped shooting as much as I used to. But there was also an underlying reason. I stopped shooting as much as I used to because I was getting frustrated with my equipment. Mm-hmm. I was getting frustrated with time on range, and when I only have an hour to get out there and practice and make sure that everything is good to go, I was running into issues. I was running into a lot of issues with string stretch. I was running into issues with like peep rotation, a lot of these other things. So I think, that peace of mind is priceless when you guys talk about that. That's one thing. Forget the performance for a minute.
Yep.
Let's just talk about the peace of mind that we can have in our equipment and that I personally have in America's Best Bowstrings, because I enjoy my time on the range now, and I find myself actively getting out there and shooting more often than I used to because I don't have those frustrations, and I have that peace of mind. And I know this all boils down in the long run to the technologies that you guys have, which is far superior than anything that I know of that's out there, and the technology and time that you guys put into your strings. But that peace of mind, I think, is if for no other reason, then have peace of mind and enjoy shooting again.
It's confidence. Confidence alone is what it's what takes you that much farther, I think.
It is, and like you were just talking about, whether you're bow hunting, you've got a deer of a lifetime, bull of a lifetime, whatever you're ready to drop the string on that animal. That is the last thing you want to worry about, is whether you will hit what you're aiming at because of a string issue or God forbid, some other issue.
Right.
That, the tournament trail. I mean, I did a lot of competition shooting, on the high-level amateur division, and I've won a lot of stuff, world championships and shooter of the years and whatnot. And you can't have an equipment failure. That can't even be in your mind. All you want to be thinking about is what am I doing? If you're shooting 3D, how far is it? Where do I need to aim and where do I need to hit? Right. And if your mind is preoccupied with, is my peep sight right? Am I I wonder if my string stretched because I was a little bit low on that last shot.
Right.
Everything just unravels, and we don't want that. Nobody wants that. And so that, for 15 years we've been doing this, and that's the mission we set out, is to build a quality product. And that's why we came up with that peace of mind, this priceless tagline, because truly that is what we are trying to achieve for the customer, is enjoy shooting your bow and don't have to worry about having issues. We want you to be able to set the bow up once, not have to come back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times and, readjust and retime things. It's just, we go right back to not living up to or not being able to do what the bow is designed to do if you're having those issues. And so we try to mitigate that by just building a great product.
Well, so you've done it. I can tell you that firsthand. You've done it. It's funny you mentioned, on the something that I always kind of compare this to as well. And then we're going to get into the tech, I promise. But we've got Scientific Angler, who in the fly fishing world, they make, I don't know how much of the world's fly line out of that facility. It's a whole lot, the lion's share. I would definitely say they're just down the road from us, and we do some work with Scientific Angler. And one of the things I've talked to those guys about in the past is their fly line that they make is the one true connection between you and the fish.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
But it's also the most overlooked part by most anglers of a fly rod setup. So I translate that into the archery world, and there's a lot of things between fly fishing and archery that are kind of parallel. But I translate that to the archery world, and your string is the one true connection between you and your arrow, right?
Yep. That's exactly right.
Not necessarily the bow, it's the string.
Yep.
So why are we overlooking that string? And that's a question that I think hopefully we're here to answer today, of why you shouldn't overlook the string.
Exactly.
The first thing I recommend to people when they buy a bow off the shelf is, hey, look at getting an aftermarket string. Look at getting the best string that you can afford. I don't know what level that might be, but look at getting the best string that you can afford. So let's talk a little bit about, from your guys' perspective at America's Best, you've got multiple strings, right? You've got, let's talk about, I think today, let's just focus on the compound bowstrings more than anything.
The Platinum Premium or the Pursuit series.
Yeah, Platinum Premium, Pursuit. I think we talk about those three, and I think it's going to be really important. What I'd love everybody to take away from this is, what is the difference between the three, and then what makes each one good in its own right?
Yeah.
And I think if we can tackle those things, then everybody's going to learn a lot, and this will be a really, valuable podcast for everybody. So let's start there. Let's start wherever it is you guys want to start with those three series of bowstrings.
So let's just start with that, the way we have this product line set up. So we really have a good, better, best. Good as Pursuit, better as Premium, and best as Platinum string product line. And it really is that. It's literally, we're taking Pursuit series as your entry level, a good, it's usually a step above anything that comes with your bow in a custom string. And then you jump into the Premium, which is a better product. The Premium is actually the product that we started with back in 2006, and we're still running that product today, and it is still our #1 seller.
Wow.
Followed very close second with Platinum, which is our best product. That is the #1, the top shelf product that we offer. Bryant, feel free to jump in on any of this. I mean, you're talking to these people every single day on the phones and dealers and whatnot. But, the Pursuit series really was designed exactly like you just said, as a good aftermarket custom string for the guy that has $100 to spend. That's really what that is designed for. It comes with, the standard product, the standard technology side. If you want to walk through some of that stuff, the equalized strand technology is really the core behind everything that we do. If the individual strands of your bundle of string, let's say for a Pursuit, for example, that's typically 20 strands of fiber. Premium and Platinum is 24 strands of fiber. But if the strands are not the exact same length, tensile strength, tension, if that is not correct from the base, the chances of getting a quality product immediately go downhill. Right. Immediately. So equalized strand technology is exactly that. Is our method, our system, the way we build the string to ensure that we have equal tension on all the strands throughout that string bundle. And then you go into the balance twist ratio. Sometimes you'll see a bow out there on a shelf where you've got one cable's got a whole lot of twist in it, and one cable or the string has a lot less, and it's noticeable. to us, the way we like to think is we want to have that as a balanced, synchronized system on your bow. And the best way to do that is to make sure that the system is built so that your twist ratio is alike. When you have, let's say you have a string that has 40 twists and you have another string that has 60 twists, those two strings will react differently at the shot,
right,
because of that twist ratio. So that's why BTR, balanced twist ratio, is so important to us.
So
it's obviously.
So I'm just going to jump in here. So it sounds like, sure. and you know, I'm always a big fan of distilling thing down to their most simplistic form. It sounds like the foundation of the entire setup at America's Best, the foundation of the string lines, is equalized strand technology, right? That is, if you lay all the bricks right in the first place, you're going to have a straight house.
Great foundation.
Great foundation.
Yep.
So that plays across everything. And then, you know, from Pursuit all the way up to Platinum, as you progress through each line, there just becomes more and more and more other added technologies, right? And that's kind of how it goes. You know, we talk about, you know, some of this going all the way back to 2006 with equalized strand technology. If there's one thing, in my opinion, that proves something works above and beyond anything else, it's longevity. Mm-hmm. And when you have longevity, we're talking 2006, we're talking, you know, going back years.
I graduated high school that year.
Yeah. There you go. He's just a puppy dog, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt.
But,
no
you know,
comment over here.
That longevity speaks volumes. So knowing that is the foundation, I think, you know, and that's what a lot of people overlook, is those foundational elements. I mean, when you start talking fundamentals and foundation, you have the platform to then allow technology and science to take you wherever it takes you.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Exactly right.
This might be like kind of a broad question maybe, but like for the Pursuit series, what kind of guy or gal or young kid, or, you know, what kind of archer is that string more kind of focused to? I know it's more focused probably to the round, like the whole spectrum of it, but like who are the people that are really going after this one?
As far as Pursuit series, I really think a lot of people that might be on the fence about ordering custom strings, people that have shot stock strings, but have been told by their buddies, hey, you gotta try these out. The person that's somewhat maybe a little hesitant, or, you know, just wants to kind of learn about it and try it out, that's where that Pursuit series kind of comes in there, because you're coming in at a price point, you know, a decent price point of $109.99. You get to pick whatever colors you want, and you're starting to get an idea of what America's Best Bowstrings can do. And then that, we talk about the foundation, that's going to give you, we hope, at least, if you want to get into Pursuit, that starts to give you the confidence and show you what a good custom bowstring can do, specifically from us. So when we're at that base level of that Pursuit series, you can only go up from there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and going back to your foundation and Casey's foundation thing, once people get introduced into this foundation, this Pursuit line, they're going to know that this is quality. What is the premium and the platinum going to do for me if the Pursuit's already leaps and bounds doing good things for you?
Mm-hmm. And we've had that. You know, we've had customers, you know, they start with us with the Pursuit series, just as Bryant talked about, and then they're like, wow, this is really good, I'm going to try your better product. And then they call us and they're like, I am just blown away by the quality, the performance, and how my bow shoots, and yada yada yada. You know, I'm kind of rabbit trailing here a little bit, but I had a professional archer, this was some years ago, told me, it was a lady, and she said, Jerry, she said, I might be just totally smoking something here, but she said, I'm shooting better groups since I started shooting your strings. Like, yeah, absolutely. Because
that's
if
the
your
point.
Strings and cables, if there's no movement, if there's no creep, which is the constant elongation of fiber, if there's no creep in that string system and everything is staying consistent, you know, 1 + 1 = 2. You're going to shoot better groups.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the Who We Are video, quality. We talk about quality. Quality is the girl we've danced with for 15 years, and there's really no reason to change. We're not going to, period. We build a quality product starting with Pursuit all the way up. And it's just, and like you said, Casey, it starts stepping up. We put more technology into it, but the foundation is based and is set around equalized strand technology.
Well, it makes total sense to me. So let's talk about a little bit. So we got, equalized strand technology, and we got balanced twist ratio that's coming in the Pursuit line. Then we bump up into the premium, right? We bump up to the next level of premium. What technologies are you guys starting to introduce, and what benefits are those technologies to an archer?
So the biggest step up that you have is the AccuSet, as we call it, which is really our system of fully pre-stretching that string, the base fibers of the string, to make sure that you have no creep, virtually no creep. So, basically you've got the basis of the ESD, you've got the balance twist ratio, and now we have a fully pre-stretched system. So you should be able to put a premium set on your bow, and basically within 10 shots, maybe 15, have that thing totally settled in, ready to roll, and you should not have to touch it after that. Obviously when we jump up to the premium series, we extend our warranty. We start with the 1-year warranty on the premium series, and we have a hassle-free warranty. Basically, if you've got a problem, we're going to take care of you. I mean, unless you take a knife and cut through your string, we might have a little bit of an issue, but we believe in backing up our product from Pursuit to Platinum because we build a quality product, and it allows us to do that. We could not offer the warranty we do and survive and stay in business if we had a shoddy product. So,
I think
that's your big step, though, to fully answer the question. The big step in the premium series is we're stepping up in materials. We have a better base material, 452X. And then we also, in addition to the EST and the balance twist ratio, we are using our AccuSet technology, which is basically saying we're fully pre-stretching that entire system before it goes on your bow.
So I mentioned it earlier about, the peep and the creep. And those are two things that for me wreak havoc on my brain, right? Because it's always that question of like, did it or didn't it, or is it me? Is it the string? Is it the bow? So the AccuSet for me, and I will stress this to anybody and everybody out there, that AccuSet technology is incredible. I mean, it has done wonders for my confidence, my shooting, my everything. And the other thing that I couldn't believe about AccuSet technology is when somebody orders their bowstring, you guys put their string on a bow, and then Bryant goes out and just holds it at full draw for like 6 hours to pre-stretch all that stuff.
That's why your arms are so big.
It's why we have 700 employees.
Everybody just goes out and holds it at full draw, and they just stand there for hours and hours on end.
What are you doing out here, Bryant? I'll just take him a lunch.
Yeah, I was wondering. I mean, when he came, his skin was green, and he had purple corduroys on when he got here.
Every one of our people, you ask him, "What do you do for a hobby at Power Lift?"
Exactly. I just hold bows at full draws for hours on end.
So what you're saying, these bows over the years that are getting better with let off, it's better on your employees. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I said. We tied let off laws. Thank God for them, guys. If we didn't have them, in trouble.
So here's somewhat of a little known fact. So how does that system work on your bow? So the string itself in almost every bow in the market has not that much load on it, actually. Most of the time your string will see a peak load of maybe 200. Oftentimes it's under that. It's maybe 150 range as it goes through the draw cycle. But your cables, that's the workhorse. That's the engine that drives the system. The cables can take you can see that load variance go by several hundred pounds, and a lot of the higher end bows, some of the higher end bows, you'll see peak weights, load tensions on that cable through a 70-pound bow draw cycle, pushing nearly up to that 500-pound range.
Wow.
And so that's very, very critical in making sure that you have that system, when you get into a fully pre-stretched system, to have that correct so that it doesn't move when subjected to that level of load as your bow is being shot.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when I go back to 2006, 15 years ago, the bows back then weren't like the bows today. Yes, there's been a lot of advancement that make shooting the bow a lot more pleasant, but the bad side is that it's made our job actually more difficult because you have higher efficiencies on the cams. The way that the systems are designed, it's a lot harder to keep servings in place. It's a lot harder to get all the proper fit and finish correct, which again, I think, obviously I'm biased, but it's why you need to choose a really good aftermarket custom string maker to provide you with a product that you can just install on your bow, go back to peace of mind is priceless and go shoot, you know?
Yep. You bring up a great distinction, actually a couple of great distinctions there. I think, you know, one that I always get into, even when I'm setting up my own bows, and I had a guy that was, you know, everything that I ever did on a bow, I always kind of taught myself to do. And I did have a guy that was very knowledgeable in setting up equipment, start to show me the differences between setting equipment up under static conditions versus setting equipment up under dynamic conditions. And, you know, even stuff, you know, when it comes to leveling your sight and the axes of your sight, what does your sight do when it's at static? What does it do when that bow's at full draw and dynamic, and all those different things. So when you talk about that, it's a great distinction to make, and we can save the in-depth conversation on that for another time. But more importantly, the distinction you make, and it's so easy for us when we talk about this stuff to talk about strings, right? Because, you know, it's bowstrings. We talk about that all the time. Cables are every bit as important, and you know, the system of string and cables. So I just want to make that clear for everybody. When we talk about bowstrings, we're not just talking about the string itself, talking about the cables as well.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. That's a very, very good point. And Bryant would attest to this as well. I mean, we get asked that question sometimes. Well, can I just change my string, or should I, you know, and our advice is absolutely change the entire system.
Change
exactly as you said.
Yeah, think about the chaos you would cause if you're shooting a stock cable or string set, and yeah, your string's getting a little fuzzy, and you're like, you know what, I'll just change that out. I want to maybe do a different color or try something different. And you're using, let's say, a completely different based fiber on your cables, and you want to jump to a high grade 452X, say a platinum series on that string. You're going to cause yourself a lot of headaches when it comes down to the tuning, the timing, everything. You're just going to keep going back to your bow shop. And then in most cases, I'll say this in all honesty, in most cases, somebody that purchases a string with us because they thought they only needed the string, they will call us in about a week and a half time and go, yeah, I need to get those cables too, because it's just not working out for me. So while yes, I would say the best thing that you can do is, if you're thinking about replacing your string, at least go the whole set. Yep. We have a string set for everybody, I think. And, you know, if you call us, we'll be more than happy to discuss that with you and really look at your situation case by case. But in most cases, if you're going to replace one, it's always best to just do it all at the same time.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's going to cost you more money and more headache, you know, just going back and forth and getting a press fee. If you're taking it to a shop, you know, they're going to be charging you more and more for it. So
yeah, and you're going to you're setting yourself up for disaster.
Yes.
Do it once and do it right.
It becomes an unpleasant experience. Yeah.
Yep.
And then that person's probably going to point it at the bowstring manufacturer. You know, it's going to point it at the ABB, and it's like, these strings are shit, you know, and really it's not the case.
You're not getting the true performance because you didn't do it right.
Exactly.
Right?
So the one thing we're leaving out here a little bit, if I don't go back to premium in terms of like the upgrade, the one thing, let's back up a bit to Pursuit. Pursuit series comes with black as servings. And then premium, you obviously have choices of servings along with custom string colors. You can do custom string colors with Pursuit series. And one thing I'm kind of thankful of, guys, here is we're talking about bowstrings. We are not focusing on the color. And you see a lot of people look at custom strings that they think, oh, the custom string is I'm allowed to choose my colors. That's only one small apple, you know, in the basket.
That's like icing on the cake, right? That's like, and I can make it whatever color I want. Sweet.
Yeah. So jumping into premium series, obviously we do the custom colored servings and stuff as well. So
and that carries all the way up through platinum.
That carries up, yes.
Yeah. And custom heat shrink, right?
Yep, heat shrink.
Yes, custom heat shrink is available across the board, actually.
And which I'll bring up too, and with speed knocks, you know, not every bow takes speed knocks. So, you know, some people request, hey, can I get speed knocks thrown on there? We will absolutely throw speed knocks on there. The caveat is you have to tell us, if it doesn't come stock with it, where you want those speed knocks to go. Because it comes down to what the manufacturer sees there from the factory. That's why they'll add or they won't add speed knocks. But yeah, as long as a bow or the string has speed knocks on it from factory, we can absolutely change out those heat shrink colors and just give you you know, a little bit. That's that cherry on top for your customization there. So it's a cool little piece that we started a couple of years ago.
And to Brian's point, you know, for the listeners, you know, if your bow came with speed knocks from the factory, we have those specs directly from the bow manufacturers, and then we get to replicate that. If you don't have it, then if you provide us with, hey, I want speed knocks at this location, sure thing, we'll put them on there for you.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to talk about. The level of customization is pretty incredible, because you have guys that'll go hardcore and do all their customization and all the bells and whistles. But at the same time, you know, I'm a guy, I just bought, let's say I bought a new Matthews V3 off the shelf. And I jump on the website for ABB, or I give you guys a call and I say, hey, I just bought a new Matthews V3 28 and I want a platinum string. That's all they've got to tell you, right? I mean, they can pick their colors, but other than that, you guys build the string, you know the specs, you do all of that. The headache is you've removed all of that from the equation, so they don't have to give you measurements. They don't have to give you any of that, correct?
That's exactly true. That's exactly true.
And in most cases, I would say that is very true. Now, there are some bow manufacturers, Casey, that are draw specific. So sometimes we may ask for what the draw length is. Right. Or you know, some other manufacturers, they will have different cam numbers. But that for the most part, yeah, if you tell us what you have, we have a vast library of bow specs from manufacturers that give us those specs and those prints.
And you know all of those specs in your head, right, Brian?
Oh, yeah. He's got to.
Yeah.
You know, a good guy would.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not in Bryant's head. It's in Tim's head. He's got a keyboard. He's got a keyboard in the back of his neck. So we just walk around the backside and just pop open the keyboard. We get whatever we need.
You just punch it in and it projects for you.
Prints it right out of his ears.
The legend. That's why he's known as the legend around here.
Honestly, Tim knows more about bow specs than I even do. It's crazy. He's really good at it. But no, I mean, we do have a very, very organized database system where we update, you know, on an annual basis based on new bows and stuff that come out. I want to touch on a point there, Casey. You mentioned about the example of someone bought a new Matthews V3 and they jump on the website, blah, blah, blah. It makes it super easy, or they call us. It's super, super easy. But here's the other side of the customization that we see every now and then. You've got someone who's messed with his bow enough, he's shot his bow enough, or he's tweaked it to where he really knows what he has, and he says, I need a string, but I want my string to be 1/8 inch longer than factory for the fit that I'm trying to achieve, or he's done some special tuning to his bow. Perfectly acceptable. That is in our wheelhouse. So the customization it's beyond colors and things of that nature. It's, if you want to do minor tweaks to your system, we 100% can do that. Now, granted, the vast majority of people they're buying a V3. They want a replacement set of strings. They want to know that it's perfect. They never have to touch it again. They just literally want to go out and shoot. They're not adding that level of extra, hey, I need a 16th inch longer string or shorter string or blah, blah, blah. But just know that is available. I mean, that's part of the custom string, options, if you will.
See, and that's amazing.
Yeah,
I think that's so awesome.
I think too, guys, when you think about this, people building their own custom arrows is starting to be a big thing. Box store arrows coming right out of the box that are pre-fletched and everything like that. People will still use those, but it's getting to be, a hot market there with people building their own arrows, putting their own nocks in. We can also fit the center serving on our string to your specific nock fitment. Which is very important, I think, in a lot of cases. Sometimes people will overlook that. You want to have a good, proper nock fit on there. You don't want it to be too loose or too tight on there. It's something that could also affect your shot. So it's something to think about there, too.
And if you go back to the tournament trail, I know guys that, tournament shooting, they want their nock to be a little bit, I'll call it sloppy, just a little bit loose. And then they tighten it up with specific servings above and below and how they have their little way of how they want it. And that's exactly the point that Bryant's making, is if and we have literally had people say, I want a 107.5 thousandths OD on my center serving. No kidding. So,
it's incredible.
We can do that stuff. And that's, you tell us, hey, I need a 111, I need a 110. We will build it to that spec. Just for the listener, if you're wondering, well, what's standard? I have no idea. 110 thousandths OD is the archery industry standard for nock, throat size, and center serving on bowstrings. Our goal as a company, if you're not specifying a size, is we try to be plus or minus 2 thousandths. But if you want something funky and you want a 106 or you want a 115, can do it.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
See, to me, that just speaks of commitment, right? Commitment to the craft more than anything. Commitment to the craft of the knowledge that you guys have and the fact that it's not an assembly line. Each string, you see so many times now when people say custom, it's kind of custom, right? It's kind of, yeah, sure, we'll build it for you, but we're not going to dive into, you're not going to tell us how to build it, right? But you guys will actually do that. I'm going to tell you how to build my string, and you're going to say, sweet, we can make that happen.
Yep.
Or you're going to make recommendations or discussions, you know what I mean, just because of the knowledge base that you guys have. That is unbelievable commitment to craft.
So that brings up a good point to me too, Casey. Yes, we build a lot of strings and cables. I mean, we're producing almost 1,000 sets a week right now just for our dealers and retail customers. And our order volumes are even higher than that. We should be able to be building 1,200 sets a week right now. That doesn't even include the stuff we have to send to boat companies. So, yeah, we're burning the candle at both ends. But the key factor here is every single one of those orders, we are starting that order from scratch when your order hits the floor. It's not like we're taking some pre-made bundle and we're twisting it to your length and then sending it out the door and calling it custom string. It is literally every single one of those is made a lot by hand. I mean, yes, we have a lot of equipment and machines and some cool stuff, but it is a lot of it is made by hand, and it is hand done from step one all the way through. And that is. It's just that extra care, that hands-on touch. We talk about it in our morning meetings and staff meetings. We have an opportunity every single day to touch, 200 people's lives. We talk to our people. You're serving a set of strings. You're building whatever. You're doing your thing. That string is going to a person who may shoot the next 410-inch bull elk or the next 220-inch whitetail.
Or their first deer ever.
Yeah.
Or their first deer. That's exactly right. We never know. So we live and breathe that what are we doing? Why are we doing what we're doing? It's more, it's not the numbers. It's we are making an impact one string at a time, and let's do it right. Let's just do it right.
And everything's made in the U.S., which I love. It's all U.S. made, and that's there's a lot to be said when you have that stamp on there.
We won't talk about Ohio, but we'll
say Ohio, guys.
No, I'm not saying it's made in Ohio. It's made in the U.S.
Is it the Ohio?
No,
Isn't that what we're supposed to say?
We can go D. Add the
It's
D.
Ohio.
Good. THE.
Oh, it's so funny because I live in Michigan now, but I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I always joke around that I just blew right through Ohio.
Yep.
I went on one side, then I went on the other.
Ohio's just a pass-through.
It's a pass-through.
To get to your actual destination.
I want to jump back here just for a second because,
there's a sports team in Cleveland that's a pass-through, too. I hate it.
Hey, I got one in Detroit, too. So.
You mean the skid mark, the bronze, the skid mark of the NFL, as I like to call them?
The bronze.
Oh, shoot.
No, the commitment to craft thing, just that level of customization. You go back to the fact that you start every single string from scratch, ground zero, right? I don't care what product market you're looking at out there. You're never going to achieve the level of success and the level of quality that you can get unless you have that commitment. And I compare it to, something like in that I use, another company in comparison would be like Kifaru, right?
Yep.
I use Kifaru packs exclusively because I know that when I order my pack, they go and Sally gets my order and Sally makes my pack, right? There was a company for years when I was guiding, even over in my guiding days in New Zealand that I used called Swazi. And every time you got a Swazi piece of clothing, there was a tag in it and it literally said like, Ben built and inspected this piece of clothing for you. And there's something about going back to that peace of mind and confidence in the fact that there is actually a human who cares sitting on the end of this thing, making sure that this is the best bowstring that they could possibly make, or the best pack that they could make, or the best clothing, shirt they could make, whatever it may be. I'm a huge fan of that level of commitment and quality. And to be honest, when I can get that peace of mind, price is not an object for me.
Nope.
If I'm going to dump my hard-earned money into something, I'm going to pay whatever I have to pay to ensure that I have the best. And I think that's why for me, I'm not going to lie to everybody. I'm a platinum guy. Like I go for broke, right? I mean, I skip everything else. I go for broke. I've also been doing it for a long time and using the strings for a long time, but the platinum series is where it's at for me. Let's touch a little bit on some of the platinum stuff. And then I got one other thing, Jerry, something for you to think about. Maybe we could talk about, it's up to you, but you enlightened me on some of the helical on an arrow and then the string and some of those things. I think if you're good with bringing some of that stuff up and enlightening the audience, we might do that. But I want to dive into platinum quick, and let's just talk about that.
So the step up, the platinum, obviously that is our best product line. And I'm like you guys, I think pretty much everybody here shoots platinum because it is just the cream of the crop. It is the best product that we've been able to make. And honestly, we've been beating our heads around the table over the last couple of years going, man, how do we make this better? And the sad thing is it becomes very, very, very difficult when you're at this level to improve on what we already have. But talking about the platinum, the key things that make that just the Ferrari, the top of the line, is the fiber lock, which is really, it's a process. It's a special process. Again, it's something completely different that we run that fiber through, that it enhances what AccuSet does. So it enhances the pre-stretch and really locks that fiber down where it literally won't move. You literally can take a platinum string set, put it on your bow. Me personally, when I set up my bow, I take my string set, put it on, I put my peep sight in it, I draw it back a couple times, make sure my peep's all right, I get everything tied in, and I go sight in my bow. And 9 times out of 10, I never touch it again.
As do I will second that, because that is exactly what my process is like.
Yep.
Compared to what it used to be, that is my process. And, when you start talking about, the fiber lock and having bowstrings affected by temperature changes, early season, I'll give a perfect example. The guys were in Colorado last year. It was 80 degrees one day and 20 degrees the next day. That can wreak havoc on equipment, right?
Yes.
So having something like fiber lock that actually builds upon another technology is incredibly smart.
Yeah. And that's really the way our system works. I mean, you go back to the foundation conversation we just had, but it's a build upon, we're not a smoke and mirrors deal. It's, you're getting something better every time you move up the ladder. The fast technology is something that I'm pretty proud of. That is also something that is exclusive only to Platinum Series. And it is a process that we run the fiber through that literally adds speed to your string. You can take a premium set, blue and yellow. You're welcome.
It's maize and blue.
Maize
actually.
and let's get it right.
Let's get it right.
I know, but that was I'm speaking in bowstring lingo, guys. Maize is not a color. You take that set and you take a platinum set, the same exact color. The platinum set will shoot faster by 2 to 3 feet per second on average. And it is because of that process we put that fiber through.
And that does vary bow to bow. I mean, we can't sit here and tell you we're guaranteeing this feet per second, the increases or anything like that. But that's about the average we see. Some guys have seen way faster.
True. Yeah.
They may have had a stretched out set of strings previously on. They throw those on, and they're getting peak efficiency. That's the great thing about Platinum, guys, is if you're shooting a brand new model flagship bow, and that they talk about, for the bow, the bow company tells you all about all these advancements and all the performance you're going to get out of that bow. If you're shooting a bad string, you're not going to be able to feel and see and notice the full effect of that bow with a bad set of bowstrings on there.
Absolutely.
So the Platinum is really, is these new, especially flagship models, it's their best friend, but not even just flagship models. I mean, we can go all the way back to, we get customers that'll call in, and they still have some of these bows from, late 90s, early 2000s, and they still like that bow. They want to throw a Platinum on there because they want to increase their performance levels and bring that bow back to new or better than it ever was before.
Yep, I agree with you guys 100% on that. I think there's another good point you touch on in there, and this is something that I think everybody has to remember. And I hear it, and Aaron and I talk about it all the time in terms of deer. Everything is relative to the specific unit in your hand, right? Mm-hmm. Everything functions a little bit differently across the board. So, having one guy get a couple feet, faster than another is not unusual and not uncommon, I would say. But everything's relative, right? We talk about it with deer. well, over there, that guy always shoots, 180-inch deer. Well, he's got a 180-inch deer. Those deer don't exist here.
Yep.
It's just that kind of thing. Everything is relative, and that goes top to bottom. Equipment, hunts, all of that stuff. So I know we're kind of winding down on time here, but
we got like 20 minutes left. Right?
I want to touch on one more thing on platinum, and it really is. It's kind of related to the whole peace of mind thing. But one of the things we do with platinum, because of the proven track record that product has, is we offer a 2-year warranty, which is basically unheard of in our industry. So the customer gets a 2-year warranty if something goes wrong with that set, if there's a creep issue or a peak rotation issue, and our warranty rate is, sub 2%, sub 1.5% typically.
That's amazing.
Very, very low warranty rate.
I got a question on your warranty. To go back to the custom. Well, I can't even say it. To the custom strings that you can do, if you do want to get a string that's like a 1/16th longer or shorter or what have you, does that void any of your warranties doing it that way?
No, nope. Not at all. Not at all. In matter of fact, Aaron, I would rather have a customer that if he orders a string cable set from us and he takes 7 twists out of his string to get everything the way he wants it and the way he's happy, he's better off the next time around to order a string that is 1/16th inch longer, and he doesn't have to mess with it. That string will perform better than he has to take a lot of twists out. Sure, you can adjust with twists, but it just goes back to how picky are you about your equipment? Do you want to have it like extra primo perfect, or are you okay with having it kind of okay, it'll work? So that's most of the time you don't have to make that many adjustments, and we recommend that you actually don't. If you're taking 10 twists out of your string, there's a problem.
Yeah, something drastically wrong.
Yep.
Twists are kind of, I always look at it's a Band-Aid. Will it fix it? Yeah, sure, it'll fix it. Yeah. But is it the right way to probably go about it? No. But up until now, with the level of customization that you guys offer, a general audience of hunters probably didn't have the option to go do that anywhere, And so, that comes back to just that commitment you guys have.
Yeah.
To touch on the warranty real quick, what really affects that, because if you take the strings or the cables and you attach them to the bow, typically, we're going to cover under warranty, but sometimes people will put, maybe a string set on a bow, and maybe they're like, you know what, I don't like that color. Can I call it back? That's where like things like that will affect not necessarily the warranty, but just how we're going to handle things. We're still going to work with you, but that warranty, it really covers that peep rotation, that serving separation, and that creep. But like Jerry said, it doesn't really matter if you've added, want to do some custom stuff, like you wanted a different center serving or this or that warranty is going to cover it. That's what's so great about our warranty is we're going to, we stand behind the product enough. We're going to take care of you on pretty much any matter.
That's awesome. That's great.
Let's talk, Jerry. Can we talk about the helical? Can you enlighten everybody on that? Because I've been doing this a long time. I've been in the industry for a long time. Been an archery hunter my entire life, and it's just something. When you had brought it up when you were here, I was kind of like, go figure. Like, who knew? You know what I mean? It was just one of those things. So I think it'd be awesome to share it with everybody.
So we twist our strings counterclockwise, which is unlike most string manufacturers on the market today. However, we do that for a reason. There's a couple of things. One is we have experimented with clockwise twisted and counterclockwise twisted strings, the way our systems work, the way our processes work, what we do to the fiber, the whole 9 yards. Counterclockwise twisted string for us makes the most consistent, the most stable, and the best product that we can build. So that's why we build the strings counterclockwise twist. Mm-hmm. The advantage to having that is that most of today's, in fact, I would venture to say probably every one of the arrow companies, if you buy a standard fletched arrow from an archery shop or from a arrow company, it comes with a right offset or right helical fletching, means it is turning your arrow clockwise as it leaves the bow. If you take a clockwise twisted string and you shoot a bare shaft, it wants to turn the shaft counterclockwise.
So bare shaft, no fletching, no helical, just straight up bare shaft. Yeah. It naturally wants to turn the arrow counterclockwise.
Yes, and just really quick, for anyone who's listening who wants to try this experiment at home to know, hey, what does my bow do? The really easy way to do it is strip your fletching off of an arrow, and all of your nocks have a little indent mark on the one side so that you know, it's easy to tell if your nock's turned right or whatever. So you take that little indent mark, or that little, whatever you call it, little notch on your nock, and have it towards you. Stand about 5 feet away from a target and shoot your arrow, and then you'll see that indent mark either it's turning clockwise or counterclockwise. Now step back about 3 feet and reshoot, and you'll see how that arrow is turning through the air.
Yeah, you can see the progression. So it might move a little bit as you step back. It'll go a little further. Yeah.
So with our product, you buy any arrow on the market, our string is turning the arrow the same way that the arrow is trying to turn itself.
See, and that's the part where I felt you should have just dropped the mic when you told me that. I was like, yeah, get out of here.
Didn't have a mic, right? Drop it.
Just smash Bryant's phone.
Yeah, right. There goes my phone.
I wonder how many listeners out there are going to go, wow, Casey's really stupid. He didn't know that. But I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Blew my mind, man.
So, I mean, is it absolutely terrible if you're shooting a clockwise twisted string with a right helical fletching? No, the fletching will take over, but why not set it right from the start?
That's where I'm at. I agree 100%. That's the part.
We have tested this with literally almost every bow on the market, and it works every single time. It's a string thing. It's
cool about the counterclockwise too, guys, is something, you know, that I learned when, you know, the first things I learned when I got in here was, you know, if you take a spool of fiber that we get, our base fiber, you take the spool, cut a little bit of that off. That fiber rotation naturally wants to turn that counterclockwise direction. So by doing that when we're starting to talk about the direction of the twist, that way the servings are not fighting to want to go back the other way. We're actually letting it go in the direction that it wants to go. Holding those fibers, when we tie the serving on, it's not fighting it, and you're not getting that serving separation then. So that's something really cool too. You know, that's why we do that counterclockwise.
And if I can just dump in here and jump in further and pick fly shit out of pepper here. So sometimes we've heard other string manufacturers go, yeah, but the actual fiber is the actual strand, the micro strand is twisted clockwise. That is correct. However, as Bryant said, the strand as it's built in this component shape wants to turn counterclockwise.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of little things that we've, you know, had developed way back when, and we still do them today. And, you know, crap, we make 50,000 sets of strings a year. So
that's not too many.
It's working. It's working.
That little bit of knowledge, I'm telling you, it literally blew my mind. And I know all about the technologies, the AccuSets, the fiber law, everything that goes into the strings and the platinum strings that I use. And then you told me that, and I think we were sitting at the Bully over a burger, and who knows. But, man, that one just got me. So I appreciate you diving into that and sharing that with everybody.
Well, the cat is officially out of the bag with that one, so everybody's going to be trying to catch back up to you now.
That's so funny. Let's talk about a little bit about the other offerings, guys. I think we've covered, you know, kind of the compound stuff. Let's talk a little bit about traditional, and then I know some of the other exciting stuff you guys got going on in the crossbow world.
Sure.
So yeah, man. If it's a bow and it takes a string, we'll build it. So we do for compounds. We build for crossbows. So the cool thing about crossbows, everything you just heard pertaining to Platinum Premium Pursuit, very much the same. The base fiber may be a little bit different when we talk about those things for crossbows, but it's going to be very similar as far as the technology and how it's built.
And you guys are making strings for all crossbows that are out there right now. I mean, you see recently the trend in these newer crossbows coming out, whether it's you know, Raven or whoever it might be. A lot of times you see components specific to those pieces of equipment, but you guys actually have a custom string for, you know, more or less anything and everything.
Yes, yep. Exactly. Yep.
Very good. I know AB's a big crossbow guy.
Yeah, I'm a big crossbow guy. Really enjoy trying those bad boys out.
You can get a little bit of a far poke with those, I hear.
Yeah, you know, I always thought, like, I was not against them, but just like why shoot one when I don't need to. But I didn't want to bash them without trying it. And, you know, I gave it a really good college try this spring. And
you could say that.
I'll be totally honest with you. The crossbow is going to be sitting on the shelf for a while.
I'm looking at my crossbow, the mission that I'm going to be shooting. That thing is going to be a doe harvesting machine. I mean, I'm going to use it to stack the freezer.
All kidding aside, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not a crossbow guy. I've shot some deer with crossbow just to try it out, like you said, AB. But, you know, there's a place for it. And at the end of the day, if you look at the big picture, we need every single sportsman out there.
Yep.
And if they have an injury or they choose to shoot a crossbow because of time constraints, I welcome them.
Yeah.
We need every single one of them because, you know, we're fighting an uphill battle when you look at the big picture.
Yep.
And it's the same for youth. To get youth in, man, if they can't draw back some of these more modern bows, now thank God most of the manufacturers are starting to make youth-driven bows, but a crossbow, I mean, that's what I learned on is an old Horton, Horton Dakota. So, that's where that comes. It's good. We cover all those bases, you know.
Yeah.
So
I will second just quickly. I will second the youth thing all day long. I know a lot of, I've talked to some guys that have been in archery a long time, and that seems to be a complaint from people nowadays as well. The young kids aren't getting started on these vertical bows, and it's too easy for them, so they never get into a vertical bow. To me, that's just a matter of who's teaching them and how they show them. I was able to get Ryder, my oldest son, into shooting much earlier than I think I ever could have because I started him on a crossbow. And then from there, it was a natural, hey, let's get you into a vertical bow. So now he's shooting a vertical bow, and it's just one of those, the natural progression of things. He hasn't put the crossbow down. He still loves it. He still loves to shoot it, but he's also in a vertical bow. And to your point, Jerry, we need everybody. The other thing I look at is somebody like my dad, who is getting up there now, approaching in his 70, getting there pretty quick. And let's be honest, the old bones just don't work the way they did at one point in time. But does that mean he should have to suffer through not being able to have an archery season? No, it doesn't. In my opinion, it doesn't. We need those people. He's still able to get out there, still able to enjoy that long archery season, spend time in the woods. And he wouldn't be able to do that otherwise if it was strictly vertical bow.
So. Agreed.
Yep. Very true. Very, very true.
And to jump off of the crossbow, we go down that line. We're, for the guys that want to do it the hard way, we do have that traditional lineup too.
Bryant, let me jump back real quick.
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to jump real back to the crossbows for 1 second. There is one thing that we do on the crossbows that is different from anything else. And it will be an interest to anybody listening that's a crossbow guy. We have what we call our DuraServe, which is a special center serving that we use for the crossbows that is enhanced to fix the wear issues, basically. So we've got people testing, and we have had people testing overseas. There's a lot of tournament archery crossbow shooters, and they've really tested this out for us, and we're getting a tremendous amount of cycles on these crossbows with this particular DuraServe on it, so that it does not separate on that center serving.
Yeah, because that section goes through hell, right? I mean, that can wear out pretty quick.
It's terrible. It'll even wear out with that. It's not like they're invincible, but it just enhances the wear on them in most cases. So just want to make sure that we covered that from that perspective. But
cool.
Okay, now that I've hijacked Bryant, I'll give you the mic back.
No, it's okay. I just saying we cover those traditional archers as well. We're happy to have that available. We started out with that traditional. We had our traditional Flemish at a D97 in our Olympic series, and then we even just do for some of those older, maybe a little more simpler strings. We're looking at our Dacron series, but this past year we brought out to market. It's called our Nomad Flemish. We're pretty excited about that one as far as a performance-based Flemish string that has caught on very strong, I think, amongst the traditional archery community. Continually trying to find ways to hit everybody across the board that's shooting a bow, to take care of them and get them an ABB string.
One of the things that I think we do so much differently, and I will say this, I think we do it better than anybody else, is our Flemish twist string is a fully pre-stretched string. The Nomad especially, and the performance, like Bryant said, it is 100% there. I mean, you talk to the guys that do that, and the guys that are the traditional archers, they're pretty diehard crowd, and they know their stuff.
Right.
And they're not going to mince words if something's not right or if they're having issues. And we're just getting rave reviews on the performance of that Nomad product. And we just, that is one string that the only machine really that touches that is the pre-stretching part of it or the serving of the center serving. Other than that, that loop is handmade, and we've got some really, really, really great girls that do just a really good job of making those strings. And they can do that Flemish way better than I can, and it looks awesome, and it works very, very, very well.
Well, like you said, those traditional, a lot of times, and I don't have a lot of experience with traditional. I grew up, thankfully, in the age of the compound, but they're discerning. I mean, they are. I got a really funny story, and then I know we are going to try to wrap here pretty soon, but I got a funny traditional story. So my dad grew up traditional, with a traditional bow in his hands. Chucko, as everybody knows. And I haven't told him this yet, so hopefully he's not listening to this, because then he'll realize just how good it was. But, we were in Alberta a couple of years back, and we were chasing mule deer and wanted to go out and do a spot and stock bow hunt on mule deer. And he had this deer, and I'm sure we'll find a way to get the video clip up in some way, shape, or form. But he had this mule deer essentially coming at him, coming down a fence row on a dead mule deer, bound run, whatever. AB was with him.
Had no idea we were there.
The deer had absolutely no idea, and this deer is coming beautiful, like 170 some inch buck coming right at him. And I don't know, you were there, so what was when the deer realized that you guys were there? He couldn't have been 10.
He was at 6 feet.
Yeah, 6 feet, 8 feet.
I literally thought the deer was going to run us over, and Chuck goes, "Get behind the tree! Get behind the tree!" It's literally a tree right here, and all he does is pull back, instinctive with a compound bow, and blitzes this deer through the shoulders. Unbelievable shot.
The deer went like 12 feet and fell over. I've never seen a compound bow shot like that, but it was so funny because you think he was raised traditional, right? He had a traditional bow in his hand. So when push came to shove, he went back to those instincts. I mean, I think we even tried in the footage, we tried to go frame by frame and time it out, and it was like 0.8 seconds from the moment he drew to the moment the arrow hit the deer. It was so fast and so quick, and it was just like this, in muscle memory, right? Instincts take over at some point and draw smack. And I was just, when I saw it, I was like, I cannot. I said, how did you do that? He's like, I don't know.
He closed his eyes.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. I held my breath, closed my eyes, and punch the trigger.
It was an unbelievable, the best shot I've ever seen.
Yeah, so that is the traditional compound shot, as I like to call it. That I've never seen anybody else do it. It was an unreal shot. Again, I hope he's not listening, because that's gonna just make his head swell. But it is what it is. I guess
get him through the door.
Yeah, give credit where credit's due. So
pretty cool story, though.
Yeah,
and the thing is, and we could talk for hours, but you spend time in the outdoors and you take time to get out there and enjoy God's creation, you're going to have experiences like that. And those are the memories and the stories that you have to tell for the rest of your life. And it's worth so much.
Yep, it absolutely is. In my case, I look at something like that all the time, where I'm fortunate enough to do what I do outside with brothers and family a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something to be said for that. And even guys like, AB and Lee and the crew, we're not brothers by blood, but man, we spend so much time out there together that we might as well be. I mean, the bonds that you form and the experiences that you have are incredible. And that's part of what we're trying to promote and push here at Humanimal is, the outdoors and the experiences that we can have. I mean, it's just unlike anything else. And once you have that first one, you get that fire in your belly for, I want that again, and I want it again, and I want it again. So, I know from my standpoint, guys, first and foremost, thanks for helping us out with the podcast here today. Thanks for coming on and sharing all the things that are incredible about ABB and America's Best Bowstrings, why it is you guys do what you do. You've got a fan for life in me. You've got somebody who believes in everything it is that you're doing. I can't thank you guys enough for the relationship that we've been able to cultivate and build over the past few years. And I am more than anything excited to see what comes next, because everything that you guys have put out there up until this point is top notch. It performs. It does exactly what you say it's going to do, which is really rare, believe it or not, nowadays. So, just more appreciative and thankful than anything to have you guys part of what it is that we do, and can't wait to see what's coming out. Out of there next.
I echo that, everything he said as well.
Well, you're very welcome. We're glad to be partners with you guys, and we enjoy the relationship as well. And one thing I can assure you that we're going to continue marching down that road. I mean, we're about quality product, and whatever happens in the future, and there's things that we're working on, but it'll follow that path. That much I can tell you.
I can't wait. Let's give one last shameless plug coming here from Bryant. Bryant, if everybody wants to check out America's Best Bowstrings, why don't you walk them through anywhere and everywhere they can find information, social media, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, sir. So the hub where you're going to find most of the information, and you can go on there and design your own strings. You can go to www.americasbestbowstrings.com. That's going to be the hub. You can go in there and find any dealers that are close to you. Go find local pro shops, guys. Our dealers are great people. They know what they're doing. They've been around for a while. They're very familiar with the product. Get in there and check them out through our dealer portal. You design your strings there. You can find us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram. We're very active in, so check us out there. We try to do some stuff on YouTube when we can. So check out, subscribe, follow us there. But other than that, just be sure to check out the website, and that's where that's the hub of everything we do.
Hey, the other thing on the website real quick is if somebody wants to become an ABB dealer, if there's somebody out there right now that's not, do you guys have capabilities to do that for them? Can they jump on there and submit like dealer request stuff?
Absolutely. They can go into there's a tab there where you can request information to become a dealer. That comes through to myself or Tim, and we typically get back in contact with you as soon as we see those things come in on that business day.
Awesome. Good deal, guys. Well, I appreciate the time. You guys keep doing what it is you do down there at America's Best. For everybody that's listening, head on over to americasbestbowstrings.com. And I'll venture to say, just knowing the kind of guys that we've got on the call here today, don't hesitate to pick up the phone. If you've got questions and you need to know what's going on or why you need to be shooting a bowstring, call there. Talk to these guys. They're more than willing to dive in and help you become the best archer and the best shooter that you can be. Whether that's target, hunting, doesn't matter. One of the keys to a quality product is always quality people. You're going to find that in America's Best Bowstrings. So that's it for me. I'll quit rambling. AB, you got anything else you want to run through?
No, not really, other than go blue. And then for all the listeners out there, if you would, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating and leave a review on the podcast. That'd be greatly appreciated. So that's all I got.
Okay, and my last bit of advice for you guys is start working on your turkey scouting for next year. It needs some help.
You can watch all of our failures at IamHumanimal.com.
There you go.
Can watch us fail miserably in the field. I promise you, we will be back for round 2. When you shoot your turkey with us next year, it might be a white one, and it might come right in your lap. But
without calling,
we're going to make this happen. We're going to get it done.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much.
To it, guys. Hey, thank you so much. You guys have a great one. Thanks for having us on.
Okay, guys, behave.
Mama say it's a new day, son.